Finally, my friends, with this game-changing chapter, it looks like we are free at last from the seemingly endless redraw chapters. The cover page of One Punch Man Chapter 201, titled Lights Out, features Saitama standing tall on top of a utility pole. Blast just showed up and gave the Heavenly Ninja Party a beatdown. Violent Force croaked that even if they're defeated, there's nowhere left for their enemies to run. He let Blast know that ever since he wounded that man 15 years ago, the monster had been receiving medical treatment, and now he has finally returned. That's right, the ultimate ninja at the pinnacle of the assassination world, who rules from the shadows in secret. Apparently he's killed more than 100,000 people, and that includes high-profile cases. Now, considering the fact that all of the shinobi are at least S-class level, some of those notable figures might have actually been pretty strong. Violent Force was confident that their nefarious leader was probably lying in wait at Sonic's hideout, waiting for them to return victorious. And that man's design hasn't been changed from its gnarly, monstrous look. Force told them to be his guest and go to their doom. Soon, the fools would realize that it would have been better to die here instead. Blast turned his attention skyward. He had a hard time finding the right words before slamming his fists together. As it turns out, he has something to show them. All of them. Blast teleported himself, Rover, and all the ninjas to Sonic's hideout. There, Saitama was just chilling in front of a ninja-shaped imprint. He greeted Blast while petting Rover. He was surprised to see the old guy show up so quickly. Sonic called out to Saitama, while Flash was too confused to speak. Everyone took a moment to process the fact that that man was taking a dirt nap in the middle of the road. Blast couldn't blame them. Not long ago, he felt the exact same way. Blast actually showed up here a little while ago and realized that Saitama made it to the location before him. Now we have solid confirmation that Blast knows that Saitama is really strong. Ignoring one of the redraws, we had no way of knowing if or how much Blast remembers from the alternate future Saitama saved the world from. And I don't think he knew Saitama was overpowered until now. Honestly, he's handling it pretty well. I wonder what it would take for him to have a stronger reaction. Flashy Flash looked down in disbelief. He had to ask, did Saitama kill the guy? Saitama was as nonchalant as ever. He couldn't exactly say for sure, but he doesn't think he did. When he showed up at Sonic's place, the weirdo suddenly jumped out and attacked him. So, Saitama punched him. He received the same treatment that Sonic and Flashy Flash had, and now, the speedy duo could only stare and hope that their brains would catch up to their reality eventually. With that, the fate of that man is way closer to the webcomic version, but at least here we have confirmation that he's still alive. So maybe he'll be able to be turned back into a human after all. Although, that begs the question of where he'd fit into the story from there. The Heavenly Ninja Party exchanged looks. Then, they all burst out into laughter. This obviously had to be a practical joke. There's no way that that could ever be that man. You know, the guy they dedicated their entire lives to. The guy who had more than an entire year of publication dedicated to his reveal. Yeah, I think we can all relate to the Teninto at this point. A moment later, they were all furious and brandishing their weapons. Fair enough. They refused to have their dedication mocked like this. To that, Saitama gave them the same treatment as their leader, albeit a bit more gently since they're not deeper in the ground. Based on his prior grievances, it made total sense to Saitama that these idiots are all ninjas. That implication immediately put Flashy Flash on the defensive. He told Saitama not to associate him with their group, which annoyed the bald hero since Flashy Flash is literally one of them. Interrupting that, Sonic asked Saitama what he's even doing here in the first place. Saitama explained that after hearing the situation, he figured it would be best to get Blast involved. Really, it seems like he passed his walking duties on to Blast while he headed over to Sonic's place. But Sonic didn't care about any of that. He was more focused on why Saitama came to his hideout. Yet another response that pissed Saitama off. He whacked the brat upside the head with one of the creepy invitation letters. Sonic has been spamming him to come over for over a month now. Yeah, Sonic didn't have a comeback for that one. Now, surprisingly, the Heavenly Ninja Party members all woke back up. these guys just won't stay down. Seriously, they fought a fierce battle against Flash and Sonic, took Portal Fist to the face from Blast, and followed it all up with a Saitama-induced sleepy time. Empty Void might just be a joke in this version, but clearly, the Ninja Village got at least one thing right. But just then, the sky began to split. Saitama was the first to notice. The angular dimensional breach continued to expand over the abandoned city. Staring up with wide eyes, Blast seemed to know what was going on, and it was not good. Two flaming-eyed kaiju emerged from the dimensional severance. One was a saber-toothed tiger, and the other was a snapping turtle with tusks. All of the ninja were on their feet and terrified. And I've got to point out that the eyes of these monsters are very similar to how Empty Void's were during the redraws. So although I don't expect him to be responsible, this is clearly God-related stuff. Upon closer inspection, it seems like these two monsters might be based on the four guardians from Chinese and Japanese mythology, namely the white tiger Byakko of the west and the black tortoise Genbu of the north. Saitama aside, everyone was totally freaking out, and thanks to Saitama's commentary, we know that these monsters are even bigger than Rover was during the Monster Association raid. And if that is indicative of their power in the slightest, then we are looking at two really dangerous disaster-level dragon threats. Also, that's further confirmation that Saitama has no idea that Rover is the same monstrous mutt that he met underground. Blast cursed himself. Apparently, this is a result of him straying too far from his post. This line is really interesting and might even give us some insights into what'll be in store for us with this new direction. If Blast is suffering the consequences of not being where he belongs, then that probably explains why he's usually away from Earth. It just goes to show how integral his existence is to the planet's safety. And if that's the case, then once this is resolved, God willing, Blast runs off to another dimension, and we won't have to worry about him triggering any more redraws. One and Murata could use some time to figure out what they really want to do with him. But if his time is so sensitive, then what the heck was he doing drinking tea and socializing at Saitama's place? Regardless, this might just be Murata's way of giving Blast the boot. Saitama asks the others if they think the big animals are looking for food. While the tiger sniffed around, the turtle noticed something close to Saitama. Rover launched a beam attack on sight, and the breach monsters returned the favor immediately. With that, it looks like Rover might just be related to these guys. If they come from the same place, then that opens a whole new can of worms. Unfortunately, Rover's beam was no match for theirs and was easily dwarfed. And just like that, a huge part of the city was obliterated. This level of power on display looks to be on par with that of the Monster Association's executives. But thankfully, like with that situation, this is an abandoned city we're talking about, so there probably aren't any casualties. And luckily, Blast can just teleport them all to safety. Now, although Empty Void's defeat was similar to how the webcomic handled it, as it stands, it doesn't look like Sonic and Flash will be inheriting the monster's weapons and scrolls. Technically, webcomic Saitama only gave them those because he accidentally broke Flashy Flash's sword when they first met. In the manga version, his sword breaking was mostly due to bad luck, and even if Saitama tried to, it might be a bit awkward with the Heavenly Ninja party still around. But oh man guys, what a relief. It's crazy to think that we went through all that suffering just to wind up here with a simple outcome. Only manga fans will know the pain and suffering that this arc caused. That said, I would love nothing more than to have the manga going crazy again, just in time for season 3 of the anime to drop and the hype levels to rise to the stratosphere. It has been a very long wait, but hopefully you guys are ready to really enjoy this series again. If so, let us know in the comments. As always, I'm Sliceable Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.